The envelope was small, festive even, with gold trim and a holly sticker sealing the back. It looked like an invitation, something warm, something belonging to tradition. But when I opened it, the words sliced clean through my chest. "We've decided it's best if you don't come this year." No explanation. No apology. Just a line that felt more like a door slamming in my face than an actual letter. I read it 3 times, sitting in my kitchen, where the soft hum of the refrigerator seemed to mock me with its calmness. I had bought that refrigerator 2 years ago for my parents' house. Just like I had replaced the roof. Just like I had taken on the mortgage after Dad's health declined. And yet, here I was. Coldly uninvited from Christmas. That was the moment something in me shifted, a hinge creaking open that had been stuck for decades. Chapter 1, The Debt That Binds. When Dad had his first heart attack, the family gathered around him with tears and flowers. But it was me who wrote the checks, negotiated with the bank, and signed the dotted lines. My siblings, Mark and Elaine, always nodded gratefully and said, "You've always been the responsible one, Sarah." Responsible. That word had been a noose around my neck since childhood. When Mom and Dad's retirement savings dried up, I stepped in. The bank wouldn't forgive their mortgage, but I had the credit and the income to refinance it under my name. I told myself I was saving the house where I grew up, the house where Dad carved notches in the doorframe to mark our heights each birthday. But with every payment I made, it felt less like I was saving a home and more like I was shackling myself to a family that didn't know the meaning of sacrifice. And yet, I kept paying. Because that's what responsible daughters do. Chapter 2, The Christmas They Took Away. It wasn't as though I loved Christmas itself. The holiday had always been tinged with a sharp edge in our house, Mom's perfectionism, Elaine's competitive gift-giving, Mark's smug jokes. I was the quiet one, the fixer. The one who arrived with both pies and receipts. But it was mine. Every year, no matter how bitter the undercurrent, I found myself in front of that old tree, strings of mismatched lights glowing faintly against ornaments older than me. It was ritual. It was blood and bone. So when I unfolded that letter, what I felt wasn't just rejection. It was exile. I called Elaine first. She answered on the second ring, her voice syrupy with guilt. "It's not personal, Sarah," she said. "We just thought, well, you can be a little intense lately. You bring too much stress into the room." Stress. I spat the word. "I paid for the room, Elaine." Silence. Then a sigh. "This is healthier for everyone." Healthier. As if I was the disease. Chapter 3, The Breaking Point. The week before Christmas, I drove past my parents' house. The lights were strung across the gutters in perfect symmetry, not Mom's doing, surely, but probably Mark's smug handiwork. Cars lined the driveway. I pictured the laughter inside, the wine glasses clinking, the fire crackling. And my name, my absence, floating through the air like a ghost. I sat there for a long time in my car, hands gripping the wheel until my knuckles turned white. My stomach churned with something between grief and fury. That was when I remembered the mortgage. The document sat in my desk drawer. My name was the one inked on the line. The monthly drafts came out of my account. I had saved that house. And in saving it, I had given them the power to exile me. Unless I took it back. Chapter 4, The Letter Returned. It wasn't hard. A simple call to the bank, a request to cancel the automatic payments, a formal letter to rescind the agreement. The mortgage reverted to the original owners, Mom and Dad. The balance was substantial, and without me, they had no way to cover it. I knew exactly what would happen. The first missed payment would trigger the warnings. The second, the threats. And within months, the house, my childhood home, would be under foreclosure review. It was vindictive. Petty. Cruel, even. But for the first time in years, I felt free. Chapter 5, The Fallout. The first call came in January. Mom, her voice trembling. Sarah, did you stop paying the mortgage? Yes, I said flatly. But why? We trusted you. I laughed, a sound so sharp it startled even me. Trusted me? You uninvited me from Christmas. That was for peace, she cried. We didn't think you'd take it so personally. You exiled me from my own family. There was silence, heavy and suffocating. Then she whispered, you wouldn't let us lose the house. Watch me, I said. And I hung up. Chapter 6, The Truth Underneath. But freedom has an aftertaste. At night, when the house was quiet and the only sound was the wind brushing against the windows, I wondered if I had gone too far. This wasn't just punishment. It was annihilation. And yet, there was another truth I had buried under years of obligation. I never really wanted to save the house. I wanted to save them. I wanted my family to look at me and see more than a wallet, more than a safety net. I wanted to be invited, truly invited, not because I paid for the roof but because they wanted me. But that never happened. Chapter 7, The Twist. In March, I drove past again. The driveway was empty. A for sale sign leaned crookedly in the yard. For a moment, guilt burned hot in my chest. Then I noticed something strange, the house didn't look sad. It looked lighter. I called Elaine, curiosity gnawing at me. Oh, that, she said breezily. Yeah, we decided to sell before the bank could take it. Honestly? It was the best thing you could have done for us. Mom and Dad moved into a smaller place. Less stress. Mark and I don't have to drive across town anymore. My breath caught. So, you're thanking me? She laughed. In a way, yeah. It forced us to move forward. I hung up without another word. Chapter 8, What Remains. They hadn't lost everything. They had found relief. And me? I realized I was no longer bound to them by checks and contracts. I was no longer the responsible one. I was simply, myself. But it was a hollow victory. The silence from my family stretched longer than any mortgage term. I wasn't invited back into their circle, not for Easter, not for summer barbecues. And yet, for the first time, I didn't wait by the phone. Conclusion, the debt that cannot be paid. Some nights, I still dream of the old house, the doorframe with notches, the living room glowing with mismatched lights. I wake with tears on my pillow, knowing I ended it, knowing I burned the bridge. But other mornings, I sit with my coffee and feel a strange, unfamiliar peace. Because sometimes, the only way to escape the prison of being the responsible one is to tear down the walls yourself. And though my family will never forgive me, and though I may never forgive them, the truth is this. There are debts you can pay with money. And then there are debts that demand freedom. I chose the latter. And I still wonder if, one Christmas years from now, when the wounds have scarred over, they'll look at the empty chair and remember me, not as their safety net, not as their banker, but as the daughter who finally walked away.